Welcome. You're watching Agronomy and Economy from the NDSU Dickinson Research Extension Center. I'm Ryan Buetow.
And I'm Levi Helmuth.
I'm an NDSU Area Extension Specialist in Cropping Systems.
And I'm an instructor with the North Dakota Farm Business Management Program, employee of BSC.
And today is July 26, 2016. Why don't we get right into the market report?
Moving into the markets, first just a general overview. The US dollar is lower from highs hit last November through this January. However, we're still at a summertime high. This continues to hurt exports by putting US commodities at a price disadvantage. Some good news on the export front, however. Roundup Ready 2 Extend soybeans have been approved for import by the EU. Now, earlier this summer and this spring, many grain merchandisers had said they wouldn't handle this commodity based on potential export restrictions and they worried about contractor nagging based on the GMO soybeans. And so this approval should help assuage some of those merchandising marketing fears. On the wheat front, hard red spring wheat September contracts are trading below $5 on the board, trading in the high 480s through the low 490s. And if you couple this with the solid dollar basis, this makes for a very poor cash price. And that's even before some of the discounts for falling numbers and protein get factored in. Hard red winter wheat harvest is 83% finished according to USDA, and from what we're hearing on that front, there's very large yields, but quality is potentially an issue. Also hearing concerns voiced coming from the European harvest in France and Germany, and that there's a potential to see a premium quality this fall. The higher quality wheat through the winter, you could see a premium for say 15, 16 protein usually, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. In corn front, late July is always a highly speculative time for the corn crop, specifically how well it's tasseling and filling. And according to most traders' estimates, the corn crop will produce enough bushels for supply to meet demand. And another factor to watch is the real possibility of a drop in demand. As I mentioned on the wheat front, there's a large harvest of low-quality wheat from the southern plains, and that wheat has to go somewhere. And if the millers decide they don't want to use the wheat or just aren't interested, it'll be utilized as a feedstuff. Think of this low-quality wheat, view it as a substitute good to corn, cutting into corn's market share of the feedstuff market. Okay, spot prices. July 2016 regional average spot prices. Hard red spring wheat $3.97, hard red winter $3.08, durum $5.98, corn $2.75, canola $14.45, oil sunflowers $15.26. Moving into livestock, beef prices appear to be in the summer doldrums. We are in a grilling season, but we're in between the major grilling holidays. Boxed beef values have fallen, with choice cutout falling 29 cents from the high of $2.28 hit in June down to $1.99 on July 25th. Later in August, we could see a rally as we get closer to Labor Day, with grilling. That's kind of being the last time that grilling interest will peak before we settle into fall. On the cow-calf front, projections of USDA price for feeder steers in the third quarter are in the $1.50s. This is lower than the $1.70 projections that many break-even and cash flow analysis utilized. And this may be a good maybe a good idea to pull those projections that were made back in January and February, pull those plans back out and update those projections and see if they're still accurate and still hold. July cattle facts, regional prices for North and South Dakota. 400 weight steers $1.71 to $1.83. 500 weight steers $1.58 to $1.69. 600 weight steers $1.51 to $1.60. 700 weight steers $1.39 to $1.45. And that's the market report.
Alright, for our topic of the day today, we're going to talk to you a bit about record keeping. And the adage of Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And you need to keep records to cover your tracks when things go off track. Be sure to keep good records for your pesticide applications, just in case there's an off-target application or anything goes wrong with your herbicide cleanout. Things can go wrong with that, and just to know what you did to back yourself up. Good record keeping can also help with planning ahead as well. When putting together a crop rotation, you think of residue management, plant diseases, weed control needs and limitations, and knowing what herbicides you put on can help you rotate your modes of action and this can help you avoid herbicide resistance. Big issue.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. And one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is, I'll remember that. I don't need to write that down. And writing things down is the first step to good record keeping. And we've talked a lot about costs and profit and ROA, and how you need to be aware of your ROA, return on asset, and you need to manage your costs, and most importantly perhaps is know your cost of production. Know that good price, well, if you know your cost of production, you can confidently say that you got a good price for your product. And by keeping a record in a calf book, a notebook, or just putting notes into your phone, it's a good way. That's how, when you're out in the field, if you do that, then you can come back later and sit down and calculate some of those things. And it's to track those costs. And given the current conditions of the egg market, back in the market report I just talked about how wheat's under $4, winter wheat's under $3. Given the current condition, knowing your cost per bushel and your cost per hundredweight for your calves, it's especially important. Good record keeping is the key to unlocking that knowledge of managing your costs. And
yeah, and going back to Murphy's Law, something might go wrong. You need to make sure that you back up all of your records, especially if it's vital to the success of your operation. Be sure to back up these records, whether you're using your phone or your computer, or use the new technology out there. You have the cloud.
The cloud is your friend. I know a producer that dropped their phone down a well, and so their calf book was gone then. And so yeah, if they just Google Drive or the cloud or whatever.
A lot of different options out there for you to use. And so if an emergency happens, make sure you have things backed up. And speaking of emergencies, with high temperatures and high stress conditions of harvest, be sure to have a plan in place and recharge your fire extinguisher. Also make sure that you have a first aid kit handy, and stay hydrated and alert out there. So I think that's all we have for you today. Have a good one.
Thanks for stopping by.